InvestorIdeas.com podcast.
Good afternoon and welcome to another InvestorIdeas.com podcast, looking at cannabis news, stocks to watch, as well as insights from thought leaders and experts. Today we look at announcements from Canopy Growth Corporation, trading on the TSX as Weed and the New York Stock Exchange as CGC, 48 North Cannabis Corporation, trading on the TSX Venture as NRTH, Pure Global Cannabis Incorporated, trading on the TSX Venture as Pure and the OTC as PRCNF, Nutraceuticals Incorporated, trading on the CSE as MYM and the OTC as MYMMF, and AgraFlora Organics International Incorporated, trading on the CSE as AGRA and the OTC as PUFXF. First, looking at Canopy Growth Corporation and HollyWeed Manufacturing Extracts Inc, who announced today that they've entered into a multi-year processing and extraction agreement. HollyWeed North Cannabis Inc, the parent company of HollyWeed Manufacturing Extracts Inc, is a female-led LGBTQ² positive company based in British Columbia that operates several subsidiaries specializing in the growth, manufacturing, licensing, and production of cannabis and other pharmaceutical-grade products. Under the terms of the 2-year agreement, HollyWeed Manufacturing Extracts Inc will process dried cannabis provided by Canopy Growth in their advanced manufacturing facility in Victoria, and then will return the high-quality oil and resin back to the company. The increased supply of this contracted extraction throughput adds to the company's in-house capacity and supports Canopy Growth with additional throughput as it brings a suite of new products to the market later this calendar year. The extraction services provided by HollyWeed will build on the company's own in-house manufacturing production based in Smiths Falls, Ontario, and will extend Canopy Growth's production commitment in British Columbia, where it currently has more than 3 million square feet of fully operational grow space located in Delta and Aldergrove. This is an opportunity for Canopy Growth to build a strong partnership with another high-quality Canadian company. The cannabis resin we get from HollyWeed will be used for our current offering of oils and soft gels, as well as our future advanced manufacturing products, said Bruce Linton, Chairman and Co-CEO of Canopy Growth. Ensuring we can continue to offer the highest quality cannabis oil and resin will be essential for our entry into the edibles market and supports our overall goal of making a wide variety of high-quality products available to our customers. Looking next at 48 North Cannabis Corporation, who announced that the company has been added to the Horizons Marijuana Life Sciences ETF, trading on the TSX as HMMJ. The addition of 48 North to the HMMJ signals market's validation of the company's strong position in the Canadian cannabis industry. 48 North's inclusion, along with a selected group of his peers, is proof that the company is being watched closely by the investment community. Investors are taking note of the disruptive potential that, pending Health Canada's approval, 48 North's significant outdoor cultivation will have on the industry as a whole, said Alison Gordon, co-CEO of 48 North. In addition to the HMMJ, 48 North is also listed on the Horizons Emerging Marijuana Growers Index ETF, trading on the TSX as HMJR, a select group of primary North American publicly listed companies involved in the cultivation, production, and/or distribution of marijuana. Next, we look at Pure Global Cannabis Incorporated, an integrated growth-oriented life sciences and consumer products cannabis company, through its wholly owned subsidiary Pure Sense Incorporated, a Health Canada licensed producer under the Cannabis Act, announced a partnership with Velvet Management Incorporated to be the Canada-wide sales and distribution agent for its premium wellness, recreational, and craft cannabis products to be sold through provincially licensed stores and online retailers. Velvet, a company created by the largest wine distributor in Canada, Philip Dundurand Wines Limited, will serve to ensure a strong retail and brand presence by Pure Global's non-medical lines of cannabis products with provincially regulated channels. With sales teams in every province, Velvet brings a deep expertise with driving brand visibility and commercial retail presence. Dundurand is the largest wine importer agent in Canada, responsible for over 4 million cases of 625 million of annual sales volume across 3,000 retail points, with the largest wine sales force in the country. 1 in 10 imported bottles of wine in Canada is sold by Dundurand. In operation for over 50 years, with 125 employees in Calgary, Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver, Dundurand has won Partner of the Year for the last 3 years by the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. The LCBO operates the Ontario Cannabis Store and will distribute cannabis to provincially licensed retailers. Velvet Management is dedicated to the cannabis sector and will duplicate the model that achieved them the #1 status in the wine category. Next, looking at Nutraceuticals Incorporated, who announced that it's increased its stake in Columbia Organica to 80%. Columbia Organica currently holds 3 licenses, which include production of cannabis derivatives, cultivation of psychoactive cannabis, and cultivation of non-psychoactive cannabis. Licenses include the capacity to export. Columbia Organica has submitted an application to certify cannabis seeds for commercialization, and in addition it holds a lease for a 36-acre property located 44 kilometers from Medellin. The region's climate is conducive for growing cannabis with an average temperature of 16 to 18 degrees Celsius and an elevation of 2,475 meters above sea level. They have secured an option to buy the property. MYM and Columbia Organica are building a production facility near Medellin, Colombia, for the cultivation and processing of cannabis and cannabis products. Currently, Columbia Organica is developing and registering seed strains with the Colombian Agricultural Institute. MYM will acquire 80% of Columbia Organica from its existing shareholders for consideration of cash, equity, and loans to the company for a total package of up to $2.26 million. MYM will employ Columbia Organica principals Daniel Alonso and Gabriel Ramirez as territory managers for South American operations. Lastly, looking at AgraFlora Organics International Incorporated, a growth-oriented and diversified international cannabis company, who announced that it is acquiring an additional 10% of the shares of Propagation Services Canada Incorporated for $14 million, payable by common shares of AgraFlora at a price of 68 cents per share, equivalent to 20 million common shares. The transaction has been agreed to in principle and approved by both boards of directors of AgraFlora and PSC. Following the transaction, the ownership of PSC will consist of AgraFlora at 60%, the Howlings Partnership Group as to 30%, and the investors of Delta Organics Cannabis Corporation as to 10%. It's important for AgraFlora to continue to have a majority stake in the joint venture company Propagation Services Canada, said Derek Ivany, President and CEO of AgraFlora. The Delta Greenhouse Complex will become our marquee facility with 2.1 million square feet of greenhouse space and 100,000 square feet in production facilities. Progress on the retrofit continues to be on target, and we expect to submit our licensing application video to Health Canada by the end of June. That's all for today's podcast. Podcast is now a certified word trademark on the blockchain through Cognate Incorporated CM certification. InvestorIdeas.com podcasts are also available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and TuneIn. If you'd like to be a guest or sponsor of this podcast, please contact InvestorIdeas.com. Investor Ideas reminds all listeners to read our disclaimers and disclosures on the InvestorIdeas.com website, and this podcast is not an endorsement to buy products or services or securities. Investors are reminded that all investments involve risk and possible loss of investment. Investor Ideas does not condone the use of cannabis except where permissible by law. Our site does not possess, distribute, or sell cannabis products.